And by now you're probably wondering, who am I? Yes, I. I have a name that ends with an I. As in I and I. I'm K to the A to the S to the R to the A to the N to the I. As in I دور خري مري منا وماني سباني والنخو أثخين شمي like Kasrani. I'm just like you, but my name is Kasrani. I'm just like you, but my name is Kasrani. I'm just like you, but my name is Kasrani. I was born in the wonderful city of Nohadra Dahog, that's about 100 miles that way, in the late 70s, the very late 70s. And I lived throughout the 80s and until mid 90s, I was living here. Now, throughout the 80s was the famous Iraq-Iran war. I have some recollection memories of my childhood with warplanes over my head and bombing places. Terrifying memories, nonetheless, have made us who we are today, pretty strong and dealing with life as it comes. And then in the mid-90s, my family decided to leave here because we had just recovered from one war and entered another war, the Gulf War. So I grew up in Europe for the rest of the time, and I spent over 20 years living and traveling around the world and being into performing, creating events and making good times slightly better, until 7-8 years ago I decided to actually come back to this land and help the community become more self-sustainable and discover our roots and get help from the community to know ourselves as individuals and as a lineage, and where do we come from and how do we connect with the spirit of our ancestors. This is the famous Nahla Valley, Nahla Melke, the land of our ancestors, Mother Assyria, the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, today known as Iraq. Iraq? Did you just say Iraq? You might say, why Iraq? Well, مظلوم يوم ريروتا ما سينا شاشاته هل كال الأقل وآمر أي أرأى التمرواته. How much pain and a bitterness can a man swallow before he can stand still and say Babylon is hollow? But don't worry, the land we stand on has its own fate. A touch of magic will turn any spot into stargate, and that's our door to go mingle with the stars. Visit Neptune, Venus, Mercury, and Mars. No need to visit Pluto as he's on his way here, bringing good news to our third eye and ear. And if you wake up and get conscious now, it's pretty obvious and clear. Now, for this special occasion, as a time of love, if I had the love of my life with me physically, now she is with me in my heart all the time, but if I had her here, this is what be our date. I would make her Beye Gutia. This is Beye Chia, Beye Chia, Chia Beye. And when someone asked me, how do you like your eggs? I replied, dirty. Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha. Now you're probably asking, what is chia? Chia is extracted fat out of yogurt, in a churn or a way that we shake the yogurt, and it separates the butter from the yogurt, and then we wash it with cold water and end up with amazing homemade organic tria. And if you haven't eaten beye tria, I don't think you've had the best beye or the best fried eggs, because this is what we call good eggs. Don't be slave to image, sex and desire. Allow, just be, relax, watch and admire. Have a cracked egg in a tria by the river on the fire. From time to time, I do like to read, write and rhyme just to keep cool and out of crime. It's not about the way I look or the fact I'm off the hook. Please don't let this get in the way and prevent you from listening to what I've got to say. I'm here and now kind of guy. You either love what I do and say, or you say goodbye. And I'm not high. You might think that's a lie, but I'm never high or low, fast or slow. Just allow, be, accept, and go with the flow. How wonderful, how wonderful. And I would really like to thank the Assyrian Art Institute for the inspiration and the encouragement to get involved in documenting what we do on an everyday basis and show it to the world. We hope to see you again and have good times. Thank you. And now my cameraman Ramin Abraham can join me and we have this very good day. Thank you.